Hello, everyone. Whenever we talk about great inventions, we often think of brilliant scientists who changed the world. But today's story is the complete opposite. This is the story of a genius who created hundreds of patents, yet one of his inventions accidentally became a weapon that killed millions of people and poisoned the entire planet. Thomas Migley Jr. was a famous American scientist. He was the author of over 100 patents. However, he was also one of the most tormented scientists of all time, as one of his proudest inventions turned him into the man who unintentionally killed the most people in history. Back in the early 20th century, gasoline was of very poor quality. It was the culprit behind the uneven combustion of fuel in engine cylinders, which created a knocking sound known as engine knocking. While working at General Motors in December 1921, Thomas discovered that adding tetraethyl lead to gasoline made the knocking sound disappear. GM called the additive ethyl, carefully avoiding any mention of its lead content in all reports and advertisements. With low cost, easy manufacturing, and super high profits, it was no surprise that leaded gasoline became a popular commodity. And very quickly, its consequences also began to appear. 10 workers died from lead poisoning at tetraethyl lead additive production plants. Thomas Migley himself suffered from lead poisoning and had to seek treatment for almost the entire year of 1923. Thomas Migley was well aware of lead's toxicity, but he was overconfident, assuming that the harmful effects of leaded gasoline could be controlled with a ratio of 1 part per thousand. In a press conference on October 30th, 1924, Thomas Migley demonstrated the safety of tetraethyl lead by placing a bottle of the chemical under his nose and inhaling its vapor for 60 seconds, claiming he could do this every day. Yet, he himself was poisoned by lead shortly after. Leaded gasoline was used in millions of cars until the late 20th century, when it was gradually replaced by unleaded fuels. Japan was the first country in the world to ban leaded gasoline in 1986. Algeria was the last country to do so in 2021. However, after nearly a century, the use of leaded gasoline has released a large amount of lead into the global atmosphere, concentrated in major cities and causing terrible harm. It's no exaggeration to say that Thomas Migley indirectly poisoned the Earth's atmosphere with lead. Lead accumulates in bones over many years, breaking down the myelin sheath around the axons of nerve cells, causing headaches, memory loss, and itching. In young children, lead poisoning leads to behavioral and learning disorders, causing a decline in intelligence. In total, lead has cost the world about 800 million IQ points and is the cause of 2/3 of all cases of intellectual disabilities with no known cause. This world is, in part, less intelligent because of leaded gasoline. Globally, lead poisoning has caused the deaths of approximately 100 million people, most of which are linked to Thomas Migley's invention. Besides leaded gasoline, Thomas Migley was also the father of the refrigerant R12. R12 gas was commonly used in air conditioners and refrigerators before 2010, and it has the potential to deplete the ozone layer, creating holes in the invisible shield that protects life on Earth from the sun's cancer-causing ultraviolet radiation. American environmental historian J.R. McNeil noted that Thomas Migley had a more negative impact on the atmosphere than any other single organism in Earth's history. Meanwhile, science writer Fred Pierce described him as a one-man environmental disaster. Late in life, Thomas Migley suffered from polio and became disabled. He was strangled to death on November 2nd, 1944, by the very device he invented to help him get out of bed without assistance. Inventing something that can change the world is a great thing, but it doesn't always come with a happy ending. Some things, perhaps, would have been better off never being invented. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and share the video if you find it useful, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos from Facts 5 Minutes. Goodbye and see you again.